here's what goes over the E chord. When you hit this E chord, 2, 3, 3 strums, right after that third strum, you're going to do a little melody, and the melody is this. It's the 7th fret on your low string, the 5th fret on your A string, right back to the 7th fret. Those are the first 3 notes. I use my 3rd and my 1st fingers for all of these, by the way. And sometimes you might have caught me sliding up into it. I would add that as a final touch after you get the notes under your fingers. But it's 7, 5, back to 7, and then 5, but on the D string. And then you land on 7 on the A string. So it's 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. And if you're real funky, you can pull that 5 with your first finger by kind of rotating your wrist. It's a little more advanced, but you can go for it if you like, and land on 7. If you pull though, don't compress your finger down. You want to swivel using this as your axis and actually swing outwards. So that's its own little little monster of a piece. Now, as you pick that, and this is contrary to the strumming, right? You're in a good feel, and also one of the reasons why this is so hard is that you have to lose this feel and actually come over here and float along your bridge. So you might be coming back a tiny bit to be able to pick these strings accurately. You don't want to try and strum through them, because you're going to get a lot of open stuff. So this is a built-in sort of a picking challenge that goes in on top of the strumming challenge. It's actually not that that easy to do. So those are your notes on that part, and then right after that you're going to land back on your E chord, but with the bass note first. I just hit the bass and then strum through my E. Let me play the whole thing from the lead so it makes sense. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Actually, I hit my bass and then I strum the whole chord. Now after you hit your bass and you're down back at your E chord, you have another challenging part. You want to remember picking fundamentals. There's more on this in how to use your pick in the how to use your pick lesson. And you're going to be hanging back here, and you're going to do a hammer-on from the A string, open A string. Hammer on with your middle finger, very important to use that finger. And then that's a down pick. And then you do the open D string. It's a little grouping of 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. You're going to do that 2 2/3 times. So the whole idea twice, and then just the hammer on again. So you're going to want to work that till it feels comfortable, like its own little tidbit that you don't have to think about too much. Now, when you're finished with that, your very last note in the lick is the bass note of your C chord, and it should be with your 3rd finger. That's why we're hammering with the middle. Now as you play that bass note, you line up your fingers and you strum your C. So the way that it lines up is that bass note of the C chord actually takes the first strum of where you would normally play a C. So you can only strum your C one time because that bass note took the space of the first strum. It sounds like this. So I hope that makes sense. It's just that it has a very nice lead-in to play that note. The ear really wants to hear the bass note of that C chord. And so in order to honor that and still be in time with the song, we have to lose the strum of the C chord. So you can start your song with a full strum. In other words, 2 strums on your C, but if you choose to loop this, which you should, as you come back around to the C, you're only going to get 1 real strum of that C because that bass note's taking the first strum once you get the lead going on. So phase 2, if you will, sounds like this. Have our next section, and honestly this is just bonus. You totally don't have to do this, but if you do, you want to do it this way. So now this actually is about 2.5 minutes into the song, and it's I assume it's a bass player kind of idea. It sounds like a bass player wrote this part, but what it is it's a nice little built-in finger exercise with just some chromatic coolness going on. Starts 3rd fret A string, that's your note. So you're going to want to pick these back here, nice and comfortable. So that's your note, and then you're just going to walk from your open E string all the way up to the same position. So you want to start your 3rd fret A string, that C note, with your 3rd finger. And you're going to do what's called playing in position, meaning that you play with all the fingers that would normally fall on the frets. We're in 1st position, so the 1st finger is at the 1st fret, and the middle finger is at the 2nd, the 3rd is at the 3rd fret, and the pinky's at the 4th. So anytime we need a note that's at the 3rd fret, we have to use that finger accordingly. So the 3rd finger for the 3rd fret, middle finger for the 2nd fret, 1st finger for the 1st fret. Open strings are just open strings. So that's playing in position. So we're playing in the 1st position because our 1st finger is at the 1st fret. So even if we're playing notes with, say, the 3rd finger at the 3rd fret, we're still in the 1st position because our 1st finger would still fall at the 1st fret. So that's the rule. We're going to play in 1st position for all this. So we're going to do 3, open, 1st, middle, ring. So it's... actually happens that the fingers line up with the frets. The finger numbers line up with the fret numbers. Not always the case. So it's ring finger, open string, walking up the E string with the 1st finger, middle finger, ring finger. Then we shift to the 2nd position. And we walk up your 5th string. We're going to go index on the 2nd fret, middle on the 3rd fret, ring on the 4th fret, pinky on the 5th fret. All on the A string, then we do the exact same thing on the E string. It's like kind of like the finger warm-up. So from the beginning, 1st position, shift to the 2nd position, shift to the 4th position. And 1st finger's on this 4th fret of the A string, 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret. So that's kind of for fun. That happens to fit over your progression of dun 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 bum 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 bum, whatever you want to do there. That's just a fun little bass line that you can throw in, or if you have 2 guitar players, you can do that, and the other guy can strum. So those are your bits. I hope you enjoy this this campfire rendition of Hey Joe. Send your requests to Walker Guitar, and I'll see you guys soon. So take it easy.